through, and great that we've got Brian here. Excellent.
Wait,
I'm so glad to have
am
you
I
all
getting
here.
Into what? Wait, what?
We are a comic book podcast that comes weekly to you through audio means and now video means for the last couple of months. And we're all people who run a comic book shop, and we like to discuss the things that we take home every week and read and love. It's a way of, staying in love with one another. As always, I am Jeff, and Roman, you are looking good.
I'm bald and Canadian.
Roman!
I'm actually Brian from Earth 519 in Canada.
And I'm Django from just south of Canada.
And
you're like the northernmost comic book shop in the contiguous United States, aren't you?
That's true, we are. Yeah.
Pretty much an honorary Canadian.
Love it. And I love whatever's going on with Django's bad audio here tonight.
I'm working on it, you guys.
He was the one that clicked a button. Hey, listen. On the Comics Place presents a perfectly acceptable podcast brought to you again from the Nerdle of Crade civilization, Bellingham, Washington, and Canada, despite what everyone thinks, brothers. We always start our podcast barely even almost at war by reaching out to the fan club, the fan base, you, the dear listeners, with an invitation to contribute to our podcast. And sometimes we get a lot of folks doing that, but other times we get just our steady good friend, William Elmer.
Hello and happy episode number 405, my friends. Happy local comic shop day. We love you. We love supporting you guys. Hey, I've been watching Peacemaker season 2, and you know what? Really good. I think season 1 was enjoyable. It's fine. Greatest, one of the greatest intros to any TV show ever. But overall, just was fine. Season 2 though, great emotional depth, great ideas they're exploring. Just really good, really thoughtful. And John Cena's flexing some acting chops that The Rock wishes he had. Anyway, what's something in comics that started off, just kind of fine, and then found its footing and turned into something much deeper, much better that you guys love? Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Crossed.
Wow.
Clearly crossed.
That's true. It did. Okay. Crossed. A great answer. B, did it ever meet the heights of the first volume? Again,
No, I was just talking with my mouth. That's all.
It was a
an
good
audio test. It's fine.
It was a good. Oh wow, the audio is real good.
Thanks, buddy.
Brian, what's something that has started in comics that maybe had a soft start but became something that you loved? It's a kind of tricky question.
Okay, I'm gonna go. It's like the answer I want to give, I would give, and I'll give off the air because that person has been canceled, so we can't talk about it anymore. But I think you probably
Red Hood shot.
I would say, for me personally, it was Starman, the Tony Harris and I want to say Jack Robinson's, but that's not right. James Robinson and Tony Harris. Robinson. Why am I saying Jack Robinson? The Jack Knight Starman, because it started as part of the 0 Day spinoff, which there was no hope for that thing. Also, had there ever been a Starman that was worth reading? I loved the Will Payton one, but I think I was probably an audience of one that liked that comic. And I loved Starman so much that I actually have a big Starman tattoo on my shoulder because it's literally one of my favorite things in the world.
Which begs me to ask the question, how is your Batman family tattoo coming? But we won't get into it right now. I can't wait to see it and hear it. Lest Brian strips his clothes off. I think, which would be great. I think I'm going to say, because, that's a unique question and I'm about it. Thank you, Will, for shouting it out to us. If anybody listening or watching ever wants to contribute to our fair podcast, you can send an email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. It's a new email address Django set up specifically for the Papcast, and we will answer any questions you send there directly on the air. Thank you, Django, for doing that.
And I thought it was going to be podcast at the
No.
Oh. Did you need to show you how to do that? Because it's real easy.
Animal Man?
Yeah.
Animal Man. Animal Man starting kind of as a throwaway character back in the 50s or 60s, and then you get Grant Morrison coming in there and redefining what you can do with breaking the third wall, fourth wall in a comic book, and kind of paving the way for that character to be way more interesting, but also kind of type of meta-ness prevalent in the DC universe that I love now.
And is it the 5th episode issue? Is that the Coyote Gospel? Is that the 4th or 5th?
That's somewhere in there, and that's a
Yeah.
That was
issue.
like, that was when you knew you were reading something special. Like up until then, it was Grant Morrison doing superheroes, and it was kind of cool. And then the 5th issue comes around, and you read the Coyote Gospel, which is literally about Wile E. Coyote being in the real world, and it's like, what am I reading? Like, this is awesome.
Also, Flex Mentallo would be the thing that I thought it was a joke, and I liked it way back in the day, and it started as back, and now like I confidently say it's my favorite comic book of all time.
Fast and the Furious.
Oh, great one, buddy. Good one.
I would say pretty much any major superhero. Like if we have kids come into the store sometimes and they're like, I want to start at Superman #1. And you're like, no, you don't, buddy.
No, you don't.
Like that book was written for people 85 years ago and you're going to hate it. And like, you know, I think any major Marvel or DC superhero, if you start at the beginning, it's pretty rough by modern storytelling standards.
Yeah. Totally.
So before we get into our comics, thank you so much, Will, for sending in an email. As always, everybody else should do that same thing. But a huge shout out and a thank you to Kyle for organizing this and bringing us on for it. And it is amazing that the entire comics industry has a go-to tech guy. Like,
right?
You're serving an entire medium, and I love it. So thank you so much. With
fabulous facial hair this week too.
And it's true. That's true.
Hey, the go-to tech guys are there and there. I'm just a hanger-on.
Yeah, but when it comes
to
talk
about
stuff,
just a hanger-on. So we are going to get into an issue #1 that came out this week. We usually like to start the podcast with some of the bigger releases that came out this week. And for those listening at home, unaware that this would be possibly outside of the norm of a normal podcast for us, we are on a live video all day thing for the local comic shop day, which was the shout out to Kyle. So we're going to move a little bit quicker, keep it to an hour this week. This week, we got a big #1 from Robert Kirkman. It's Skin Breaker. This is one that had been announced a number of months ago, and it had been kind of an issue in the comics industry for the last couple of years. I would always occasionally hear from people and being like, this book was just announced and I really want to be able to read it and reserve it, but we hadn't had the data come through comic shops yet, couldn't create requests for them. This was one of the more loud instances of people being excited about a book that we did not have the data for subscribing for yet. But it is here now, and based on that buzz pre-existing, I think a lot of shops got this, and probably a lot of people read it as well. And it's pretty cool to get David Finch doing the art with Robert Kirkman, who you all know, Walking Dead, Invincible, Inner John universe, all the good stuff. So this is a pretty new novel Kirkman story, especially when you look at it compared to what he's doing over in the Inner John universe. But we're introduced to sort of a feral wolfy culture on a planet. And in what Kirkman does so well within one issue, he introduces us to a very alien world and sets up a lot of foundational work on the contents and structure of the world. So what governs this culture here and the rites of passage within the youth and people. And while we don't get to really know a character super, super well in it, I think that we get to see kind of the rules of this world. So yeah, he's really good at that. What did you guys think of Skin Breaker?
I liked it a lot. I thought the Kirkman often does a thing, especially in Walking Dead and Invincible, where he'll have characters describe their existing emotions and their motivations instead of just letting the reader sniff them out. And I thought that he steered clear of that a lot in this and had other characters and actions kind of take care of that. So I really appreciated that from a writing standpoint. The art is gorgeous, and like the world is really cool. It's kind of like Avatar, but with barbarians in yellow instead of blue. I don't know if they filmed this whole thing in Mexico or not, but that seems to be the universal. We're in Mexico now is turning the filters yellow.
I'm excited to. Django and I met up on Wednesday morning after both having read this and agreed on liking it a lot, but had one thing that kind of got in the way of it. So before we say that, I'm curious to get Brian's unfiltered opinion on The Skin Broke.
Yeah, absolutely. So it feels a little bit to me like David Fincher has alopecia, and some of this feels very, very much like kind of him and Kirkman having a chat about kind of how he felt as it was kind of taking its shape, if you will.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was, and it felt like it feels a little bit like World of Warcraft, kind of in a way. And as I was reading it, like I don't know why, but my cynical side of me always like says, okay, this is a movie treatment, right? Like this is going to be at some point.
Totally.
And never felt that way with this. It felt more like it was an original story that I can't see you doing elsewise. So it was, it was really, really, it was great. Like I loved it from beginning to end. And I went into it not thinking I would like it. So by the end of it, I really did. And I think I read it twice because the characters in the beginning are very, very similar. And I didn't really understand that the old dude and the young dude had done a thing that I thought the old dude was doing. And I was like, what? And then rereading,
just holding Dino Jaws, right? He was just holding Dino Jaws.
Exactly. And yeah, I thought it was the old guy that was holding the Dino Jaws, and I was like, wait, no, wrong way. So it was really good though. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to where this is going.
Yeah, he's just so good at like setting up a first issue. And Django mentioned some of like Kirkman has some unique pacing ways of writing a comic. And I think when he's had the success that he's had and the things that he was successful in doing were paced slightly antithetically to a lot of what the industry was doing at the time, like Walking Dead, like quick issues with big cliffhangers and stuff. He just gets to write a story at whatever pace he wants. And that type of success and therefore freedom makes his comics always really interesting. I love David Finch's art, but the thing that Django and I talked about is there was something about it, especially the first like half of it, that was really muddy. And in the environments, it was very hard for me to distinguish what was going on. And what we landed on is that the coloring, while fantastic, for the first half of the book, it is like 80% shades of tan, brown, orange, mud, yellow. And it's really, as you're getting visually introduced to an alien planet and the flora and fauna on it, it was very difficult for me to like fully grok the world physically just because of the colors.
And maybe we'll get more colors going forward. Maybe the seasons change and we get that with the colors, or, you know, like there's another book. I don't know if we'll get to talk about Sleep today, but the newest issue of Sleep,
so good,
adds a color and it changes the story in an interesting way. And I think, Blue Skies would have done something different to this book. I still liked it a lot though.
Totally.
Like just had to exercise my eyes.
So Brian, you've been on this podcast before and many other podcasts with us because brothers in arms. But as you know, we like to drop a 1 to 10 score rating for the comic book. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you give Skinbreaker #1?
I would give this a solid 9. It was a great first issue. It established a lot of good stuff and it looks beautiful. And like, even I love the cardstock cover and stuff like that. So yeah, I give it a solid 9.
I'm going to be a copycat and also give it a 9.
And I will stretch my courageous muscles and give this book a 9.0.
Oh, whoa.
Blazing
crazy.
New trails.
Well, I've recorded that in our system and our website will reflect it now.
Before we go on, can I just do one little thing?
Please.
I have a very special guest here.
Oh.
What?
Who's this?
It's Gigantor.
Oh, Max!
Gigantor,
what up, dude?
Max is here to say hi to Jeff and Django, 2 of his favorite humans that he's
and his
never
dope
met.
Swamp Thing shirt. Max, I got a brand new guitar last week. I can't wait to talk to you about. Probably not in this moment, but
can't wait to tell you about.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased that Max is still showing off his ability to grow hair. Congratulations, Max!
So good.
It's so big.
Love it. Max is welcome in the background of a studio I'm in any day of the week at any given time. Another #1 that came out this week, but is not the beginning of a new series, and instead, as I understand it, just a one-shot, is the first issue of Ultimate Hawkeye. This issue was written by a couple folks, as the story itself was divided into 2 bits, sort of 6-page sort of warm-up, and then a different writer and artist telling the adventure story that beginning kind of set up.
Okay, all right. That explains things.
So the precursor story was written by Dennis Camp, who had created the character in the pages of the Ultimates, and that artist is the artist who has been doing the Ultimate universe, and I'm a bad boy who forgot the artist's name. But then we switch over to a different artist and writing duo for the bulk of this issue, and it is written by B. Earl and Taboo, with art by Michael Sta Maria. STA period. I don't know what it means. This character is really cool. I think it was issue 5 maybe of the Ultimates that they were introduced in. And it quickly became a character I was very excited to get to read more of. But the way that Dennis Camp's Ultimate story has gone in the like 12 or so issues that there are is like, there's not just like one linear plot that you are following. We have like fractured into a lot of things going on at once. And we don't get to spend a ton of time with small, moments in characters. So this is a cool opportunity to do that. I do think I would have loved if the artist who had done their introduction and, the Ultimates did the bulk of the art in this story. Yes, Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. Yes.
That is super cool.
Yeah, and they had done something not too long ago in comics as well. This issue did some cool things. We get a glimpse, spoilers everyone, of Clint Barton in the Ultimate Universe, which I don't think we had been seen yet. And yeah, I think all in all, it was a pretty good issue. What did you guys think of it?
I think that Taboo is from the Black Eyed Peas, and that's all I know about this comic because I haven't read it yet. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed this. There were a couple times though that there were some scale issues where I was looking at things and trying to figure out, especially this panel with all the people in the chains. I was like, why is that girl so big? And then I realized, wait, no, this is a perspective, and I'm not smart enough to recognize that it's perspective.
It looks like a scene from Saw.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Overall, it was really great. I really enjoyed it. I like this character so much, and I love the fact that like the bow actually does the work, and he's not.
Oh, me too. 3D printing different arrows.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, I like. I'm so sad that the Ultimate Universe is going to end soon, and it sells really well, and it feels like a mistake ending it this soon.
Brian, are you being jokey?
No, I'm serious. I'm like super sad.
There's no way they're ending the Ultimate Universe.
Oh no, the end game stuff is going to end this stuff, and then something new is going to happen. But they're going to restart everything with number 1.
Right. Yeah. And with the way the Ultimate series has gone so far, this most recent issue really did give me a feeling of like, oh yeah, they're going to like reboot all of this. Like the maker's going to get out and we're going to set this universe right or something, and then start telling stories.
Which could be really interesting and could be really exciting.
Totally.
I hope it is.
Yeah, and I hope Dennis Camp is still a big part of it. He has said he will be.
It's funny because 2 years ago, I remember asking you guys who Dennis Camp and Figueri, I think is the other guy, is the artist's name. I was like, do you guys even recognize these? Like, Ultimates was a pretty high profile book to put 2 then absolutely unknowns on, and now like Dennis Camp is probably one of the biggest superstars we've had in the last 10 years.
Read whatever he does.
In the last year, he has probably done more books that are my favorite books. He's become one of my 3 favorite writers in the business right now. I think that this is like one of the most excellent executions of using creating a non-binary character within here, and like down to the language within all of it is wonderful. The 2 different artists on the issue, Juan Figueri has done a great job of capturing the androgynous nature of this non-binary character. The backup artist really drew them with a much more like masculine facial structure and body, and I think a lot of the ambiguity of that was lost. But within the writing of the story, Taboo did some really cool things to demonstrate subtly that, at one point they have to choose between going into the sun room or the moon room or whatever, and they're like, F that, and they bust through the middle as of this, like, I don't have to choose a binary life or whatever. I really like this, and especially for bringing in some smaller creators like that, I was pretty impressed. So I gave Ultimate Hawkeye an 8.5.
Nice. I see a Kyle here.
I just wanted to say a couple things. One, when Dennis Camp was put on Ultimates, he had only written maybe the best Bloodshot story we'd seen in 5 years. Which isn't, I mean, not a high bar, but it's a bar. The second thing I want to say is, I tried really hard to get Dennis Camp and Taboo on the show today. And I got as close as getting an email that may have been Fergie's that I didn't get a response from. So I think this book gets a 1, but only because I from Will I Am is the Roman numeral 1.
Well played.
I don't think we should count that for your official scores, Jane.
I haven't entered Kyle into the system. What kind of score do you give it? Right. I haven't entered you into the system. I'm sorry.
This is weak sauce, Django. Weak sauce. I'm going to give this a solid 8. I thought that the art in the main story was just a little bit uneven, but it was overall like really, really good. And I didn't realize that Dennis Camp didn't write all of it. So that's kind of a testament to how good the actual story
I agree.
Was. Yeah.
So
wait, we don't have Django didn't read it.
He didn't read it. Yeah.
I didn't read it.
I was giving it a 1.
I give it a infinity 0.0.
Not a number 1, but maybe one of the other best books that's been coming out over the last year, with some Eisner-winning creators on it, is Absolute Wonder Woman number 12, continuing the epic, amazing book written by Kelly Thompson with art by the undisputable, incredible Hayden Sherman, a titan in the comic industry who looks like he's very, very young, and I cannot wait to see the future of this artist in this industry who has blown our minds on this podcast for the last year and a half, looking like a fully formed artist that has one of the most versatile styles that I've really ever seen. Abs Wonder Woman, my friends.
Excellent issue. We get to see her rescue a bunch of people and also a dude with a bull for a head. And just over and over, she solves problems with empathy and compassion. And smarts, and doesn't rely on her ridiculous strength all the time, which is really cool. And like you said, Jeff, the art is fabulous. And I really like the setup for whatever's going on next. There's 5 pages. It introduces us to, spoiler alert, Ultimate Zatanna.
Cannot wait. Absolute Zatanna.
Yeah.
Absolute Zatanna. But she also might be the Ultimate Zatanna.
That's true.
Absolute Zatanna.
In Silence of the Lambs muzzle.
Yeah, amazing. And that shot before that, where you see all of these
cheetah tail on here.
The rogues gallery of Wonder Woman that are just all locked up. It's amazing. So what I loved about this issue is, first of all, they're doing a really good job with these Absolute books of keeping them to 6-issue arcs. Absolute Batman right now is probably going to be a 2-issue and then a 6-issue arc, but you're seeing these really great tight 6-issue arcs. And this entire issue, and I'll have to go back and read it again. I might be talking on my butt here. I don't think a single fist is thrown in this entire issue, and it wraps up a massive battle storyline. Is that not absolutely insane? And also the ultimate epitome of this version of Wonder Woman.
She's wrestling around a little bit with the fishmen.
She's doing some fighting.
She's not. She's doing it kind of to keep them all at bay.
But to that point, she deals with problems with, kind of like you said, Django, unrelenting compassion. And so to Brian's point, it's not enough for her to solve this large battle with physical destruction of the opponent. It's to give them a second chance and freedom.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. She doesn't beat them. She lets them free. It's such a great ending.
I love the line where the guy says, "I can't leave you alone here," and she's like, "I am not alone. Look at all these fishmen who are attacking her."
Yeah. My favorite moment in this, and maybe my memory is cloudy, but we are introduced. Well, we see Wonder Woman's sister disappear at one point, and where she goes, we get to see, and she goes to Themyscira, where she mentions that Wonder Woman is still alive, Diana is alive, and Hippolyta like just starts celebrating and it's like telling the entire island to begin ringing the bells and stuff because like she was taken as a little one. And so that's the answer to this culture that, oh, she's still alive, and just seeing the joy and celebration there answers a lot of unspoken questions about the last 12 issues and where she came from. So I loved that.
Yeah. Really, really good wrap up to what's been a surprisingly good story, given that 4 of the issues have taken place in basically the same setting. Like a Labyrinth seems like a 1 or 2 issue setting to me, and to have it be entertaining this whole time has been great.
You sound like a man who hasn't played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, because I can assure you I spent a year in a Labyrinth once.
Ryan, I was a bad DM and almost lost all of my friends in junior high because of it. So I haven't played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons since.
You know what I absolutely love about this series is like Wonder Woman has this unconventional beauty. Like you look at that incredibly Romanesque nose, and she's still a beautiful person, but like that is a very Romanesque looking visage, like profile.
And even though he's not on the podcast this week, it is worth mentioning Roman is our usual third guest, and she does have a Romanesque nose.
I'd give that a 9.5 right there for Wonder Woman number 12. Easy 9.5 from me.
I'm going 8.5 on Wonder Woman 12.
Nice. Not a fan of fishmen, huh?
I love fishmen.
Wonder Woman has been like my 3rd favorite absolute lately, but this might be my no, it's my 2nd favorite absolute of the month. But it's still a solid 9.5 for me.
Nice.
Heck yeah,
buddy. Up on Jeff.
Yeah, Absolute Batman 12 was probably one of the best comics I've read this year.
Yeah,
and similar to this.
Your message about it caused me to go down to the store and crack the box and grab it earlier than I normally would.
It was so good, dude.
Yeah, it was really good. Hey, Django, you alluded to a comic earlier that I really want to talk about because it's a thing I don't hear talked about a ton in the comics industry right now. It is Sleep number 5, done by Xander Cannon. And when I say done by Xander Cannon, I mean every aspect of it, and to the point where in the write-up in the letters of this one, he goes through all of the aspects of writing and creating a comic book and gives a letter grade to the process for how much he enjoys it. So like lettering was surprisingly like his favorite part of it. I got to speak to him briefly at San Diego Comic-Con, and he was younger than I thought, considering he's done work with Alan Moore and whatnot. But Django, you said a new color was introduced in this. Tell me about Sleep. I had to read 4 and 5 today to get caught up.
Yeah, so this has been a story about a guy who is waking up seemingly having done a bunch of bad things, killed people and run roughshod across town. And there have been little bits of red that seem to be hinting to us what is important in the mystery of what he's doing. And in my mind, even if he's doing it, I'm not 100% convinced that he's behind it. He might be getting beat up by whatever it is. But it's been a black and white series with beautiful black and white art with gray tones and then red bits. And halfway through this issue, we walk into a room and the sky is blue. And actually, even before that, there's little blue rim lighting around the characters. And it was wild to kind of turn the page and be sort of jarred by this new color in this universe. And dude, I thought it was really, really well done.
I didn't even notice in the act of reading it that blue had appeared for the very first time. And
really,
I really wonder, what it means. But to me, in looking at where it is, it might even like represent like hope or a glimmer of hope or something, like because that blue accent is on them as they're about to walk into this room, and then the blue is in the sky where they're in the room where that they kind of start maybe making some connections about leads to how to deal with this. And actually, Brian, are you reading this as well?
Not, guys.
Okay, sorry, I didn't.
You're gonna love it when you do.
Yeah, I'm going to.
It has such a wonderful sense of dread to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little more on the blue there, Jeff. I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed, but it is raining when they enter the building and when they leave the building. But the window in that one room is bright blue skies.
Yeah, where they're getting some hope, some answers, some leads.
Yeah. So is it literal or is it just a color to give you a feeling?
Right. I mean, or embodying that there is hope introduced in the story. And interestingly, when they go down to the cave in the mine where there's potentially some hope and answers, instead of having spot red, everything in the comic in that environment is red. So really interesting usage of colors in here. And I love that the method for the usage of colors is still a mystery 5 issues in.
And he's not red. No, even when he's in the cave, right? So
yeah.
I don't know what that tells us, but I have a feeling that this is going to be something I'm going to want to read when it's all done, once I have all the bits and pieces.
You know what it reminded me of while reading this issue was like a Mark Flanagan TV series. Is it Mark? Is it Mike Flanagan?
Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, Blythe Manor and Hill House and the religious Vampire Island, and just like the religious overtones, the using it, and then also kind of bastardizing that religious value, right? Like having a real anti things within it. So just an amazing book, and Xander Cannon is really interesting, and the art is a little bit cartoony. The people are hard to discern what age they are, and then that juxtaposed with the guilt and dread and fear is just a really interesting juxtaposition between the art and the actual content of the book. So I'm really impressed by Sleep 4 and 5, and I'm going to give 5 a 9.
I can't think of any reason not to give it a 10.
Oh.
Like there's nothing I don't like about that issue.
I'm excited. It makes me think about what I think my favorite book of the week is.
You guys, my favorite thing about this podcast is that you force me to read stuff that I would never read, like news. What is it? The
news from the Fallout.
News from the Fallout. Just things that I wouldn't normally pick up. And then I hear you guys gush about them. And now I have to go back and find 5 issues of Sleep. So thanks a lot, you jerks.
Anytime.
Hey, Brian, do you want to shine a light on anything specifically from your stack so far? We are going to do buckshots, everybody, in about 5 to 7 minutes here. But before we do that.
Yeah, we're about to jump into a bunch of stuff I haven't read. So I would love to throw maybe my favorite comic of the week out.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees Rites of Spring, issue number 3 by Patrick Horvath. Wow. Like this issue. So for some reason, I've never considered Samantha the bad guy until this issue. Like, she was kind of a Dexter bad guy. You know, she's bad, but she's not that. Like, she's not really. But then this issue is like, oh no, she's terrible. This is a horrible human being. Well, bear. It's a horrible bear that needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Bad news. Okay. So do you think that is something that Patrick Horvath had in mind when writing the first one?
I kind of do, because he like alluded right from the beginning that her parents were in Florida, right? Like that was right there. And obviously she'd been doing this for a long time. I don't know why I never clued into how terrible it was, right? Yeah. It's probably the anamorphic side of it. Like if we would have seen a human divided the way that duck was the first issue, I'd probably be disgusted and want to vomit. But for some reason, it wasn't nearly so bad. And this is just like, this is a terrible, terrible creature who needs to be stopped.
It's kind of like, when you talk to people about Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think most people, if they're being honest, didn't think that Walter White was a total monster in the first few episodes.
Yep.
It's very popular to say, oh, I always thought he was a jerk. But I think they did a really good job of being kind of subtle about that and distracting you with all the fun stuff that he's doing and losing his pants and these wacky characters. And I think the first volume of Beneath the Trees was kind of the same thing. We're like, oh wow, this is beautiful. It's kind of what James Gunn does too, where he's like, oh yeah, here's a string of the worst things that have ever happened to these characters, darker than anything you would ever watch on HBO, but you're laughing at it the whole time.
Yeah.
And it isn't until you leave the theater that you realize, oh, that was really messed up.
That dude lost his face.
Yeah.
I just saw my 13-year-old son was sitting next to me as a dude lost his face. What bother am I?
Yeah, man, this continues to be one of the best comics out there.
Jeff, are you reading Beneath the Trees?
I'm not, but it's one of the very few books that my wife has read in the comic world.
Nice.
You know, what sold me on this book entirely was when I heard that it was the line from the Teddy Bear's Picnic, beneath the trees where nobody sees. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so genius. Like, that's such a malicious sounding song when you actually read the lyrics. Yeah, this is my Gooey Duck of the week, guys.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time that a comic completely turned my axis on how a character is perceived as this one did.
That's awesome. I give it a 9.
Excellent. Carrying on the train
this
of
week.
anthropomorphic animals, just for the sake of getting my Gooey Duck into this, I sat down to read Escape #2 by Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. And as I opened it up to the first page, I was thinking about what had happened in the previous issue, and we're introduced to some characters, and they crash behind enemy lines in like a World War II kind of feeling thing, but in Nazi Germany, except for they're all animals, like dogs. They're all dogs, the good guys and the bad guys.
Bad guys are bats.
And aren't they like hounds or like I thought they were still dogs, but they were referring to them as bats.
You're better at animals than I am, for sure.
Big animal fan. Things happening bad to animals are one of the reasons I avoid some fiction. So as I started this issue, I was like, I don't know how much I really, in this moment right now, want to read a story of a good guy behind enemy lines in World War II. I was like, I really liked that first issue, but jumping into like a war vibe for where I was at didn't feel super appealing, but I got into it. And in the first issue, we were introduced to the cast in a vague way as their kind of plane crashed, but we didn't get much backstory on them. And very quickly, like on page 2 or 3, we jump into a flashback of our main character. And he's a bit of a barnstormer, a phrase I learned because of Scott Snyder's miniseries a year or two ago.
Oh, you mean barnstormers?
Yeah, barnstormers. We spend almost the entire issue learning about this protagonist and how he met his wife and how, why he ended up getting into World War II. And it is such an effective way of totally getting me on board. I was already on board, but like the singular nature of the vibe of the story going into this made me feel like I didn't know. This opened up the kind of continuum of the type of story that it is, and I love it. And then Daniel Acuna's art is just stunning. It always is, but it's really, really incredible here. And that's tactic of kind of introducing you to the characters in issue 1 and giving you the feeling that you think you know them and stuff, but then waiting till issue 2 or 3 to like really get you to know the character. You have to be a pretty great writer to, for me to feel like I don't know a character all of a sudden, even though I thought that I did. So I loved this. Django, what did you think of it?
I thought it was awesome. I'm not as afraid of animals getting hurt as you, so I'm rooting for some violence against the bat dogs at some point.
You're such a terrible human being, Django.
They're such a bad
person. Okay. You're just a bad person.
They're the bad guys. They're clearly the bad guys. They have better outfits, obviously bad guys. I thought there were some pages and panels in here that were either colored or drawn a lot like Smallwood.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Like some of the fair stuff. It gave me some real nice Human Target vibes. And
totally.
I don't know. I would never have guessed that I would have a real soft spot for animals that walk like people, like Black Sad and this. So I've booked a couple of trips this year. I'm going to go to some furry conventions and just kind of look into that. So,
oh my gosh,
it out.
you need
I'm
to
just gonna hang
meet
out.
yourself. You need
Yeah,
to
I'm just
meet
gonna see what's
yourself.
yeah.
happening.
Rick Remender, oftentimes, especially in first issues, will do a really honest and interesting write-up at the end of his issues about kind of who he is and what's causing the story. Long time ago during Strange Girl, he sort of wrote about how his dad and mom met, and his dad kind of just like took his mom away from her family. And throughout this story, as we're introduced to these characters and how they met and whatnot, there was all these echoes of Rick Remender's parents' relationships that I read in Back Matter a decade ago through here. I just love when art allows you to get to know somebody and see how their brain and thoughts work. So I love this. It blew me away. And, I do love World War II fiction. And so this is just incredible. So it gets a gooey duck from me.
Nice.
10 o'clock.
I'm going to give it a 9. And like, I have kind of a hit or miss relationship with Rick Remender. And if I had to guess, this is going to be one that I finish. I probably finish. I start all of his books and I often drop off by issue 6 or 7. Somewhere we don't get an issue and I just don't come back to it or whatever. But I think I'm going to pursue this one to the very end.
So on that topic, Django, you have 90 seconds. Go.
Buckshot.
Oh
my God, I have a buckshot. This is something we do on our podcast. I'm going to talk about The Twilight Zone, #1 blanks by Dan Waters and Morgan Beam. I thought that this really hit the Twilight Zone nail on the head. I really enjoyed the story. The art was solid. It was nice and creepy. I don't know if these are based on existing Twilight Zone stories, but it doesn't matter because this one was good. I also read Viking Moon #1, Joe Pruitt and Marcelo Fruzen.
Joe Pruitt.
Joe. I really don't care about Vikings, and I really liked this book. I thought it was really awesome. The art is just spectacular. I think this artist did a pretty long run on Hellblazer, and I was iffy on the story and really enjoyed the art on that one. It might have been the Mike Carey run. He did a handful of maybe. I also read Superman Unlimited #5. I don't know what's going on in the world that I'm reading more than one issue of Superman in a row, but I'm 5 to 15 issues, 30 issues deep on Superman, the main series right now. Just digging the heck out of it. I think it's some of the best Superman stuff that we've had in a long time. This one has they've got the Kryptonite town and Superman has to go there, and just good peril. It's been a long time since we did buckshots, buddy.
A buck shooter. Yeah, it's nice to be back on the firing range.
Back on the buck.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone, solid 8. And by the way, Dan Waters is just doing great work lately.
Love him.
Maybe he always has. I think he always has. I don't think I've disliked something he did. Viking Moon, give that a 7 just because of the Vikings. I love the moon part. And go ahead. Oh, you took an inhale like you were going to make fun of me, and I was bracing for it.
Oh, no, bud. Nothing but love and support. However, I will say I'm always setting you up for failure. So moving away from your buckshot, I want to make sure Brian knows that in just a couple seconds, I'm going to start your timer for 90 seconds, and then you'll get to do your buckshot. Are you ready?
Yeah. Has Django finished his scores?
Superman Unlimited 7.5.
Ooh.
Nice.
Brian, get ready and go.
So I don't remember if we said that we were going to do X-Men together, but if we didn't, I'm doing X-Men 22. I haven't read a lot of X-Men, but I'm trying to catch up for the Age of Revelation. Interesting. I like where they're going with this whole Doug Ramsey thing. It was a quick read. It was very dense. I forgot how dense the X-Men books are. There was a lot of characters in here. But yeah, it's a good setup to the Age of Revelation, because at the end of it, a big thing happens. Very, very surprising.
Revelatory.
I'm gonna go Justice League #11. It is a prelude to the DCKO event that's happening. So apparently DC is doing like 3-month arcs, and so the next big arc is going to be this whole DCKO thing. The art is not Dan Mora, which was surprising to me, and it kind of suffers from Dan Mora's got a very clear kind of feel, and this was lacking that. But the actual, like, I felt like the Justice League was in peril the entire time, and it was really, really fun. So I'm a huge Legion fan, as you guys know, and the fact that there's like a whole alternate Dark Legion is so awesome. And there's a time trapper and like all my favorite things rolled into one. So I really enjoyed it. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a womp womp. The DCKO preview. Oh, really?
Goes fast, baby.
This preview is the exact preview that we've seen in the back of all the DC magazines this month.
Oh,
it's like
bummer.
literally it with 4 pages of back matter.
Nice.
Don't. But I'm going to give X-Men. Man, I should have taken half the time on that X-Men. I'm going to give that X-Men a 7. I'm going to give the Justice League an 8. And the DCKO gets a womp womp. I don't know how you score a womp womp, but this is a womp womp.
It's a lazy 8. Jeff,
let me do a quick little bonus.
Yeah.
This is the New History of DC Universe issue number 3. You can just call this Homework the comic book, and you'll be fine.
Oh, I love it.
So
or Cliff Notes the comic book.
It's so dense. It's just and reading like the chatter on Reddit from people like debating. Oh, on page 32, the Supergirl's re-entry, and it's just like, who cares? Just read comics and have fun. Why
Roman,
gotta make it? Oh god,
that is Roman's type of homework fun. He loves those annotated deep histories, and I have loved it so far, but I haven't read this issue yet.
Like I have the omnibuy of who's who in the DC universe. I'm that kind of nerd, but man, it's tough. It's tough getting through this stuff.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Jeff, podcast Buckshot Go.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You got a minute and 30.
I read Star Trek: The Last Starship by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing at the Ignition party at San Diego. I got caught up in a conversation with one of the two of those guys. They're both very nice. Can't tell them apart. And was talking about just Star Trek. And like, I love Star Trek, but the barrier for me to the comics is that it always seems to be building on a specific story or maybe one of the series that I haven't seen or something. So it never feels like I have my feet fully on the ground in a Star Trek comic. And he was saying that like, that's what he hears a lot. So the point of this one is we're hundreds of years in the future of any Star Trek series that we've had, television or anything else. And the dilithium crystals all go inert and 96% of Starfleet is destroyed. And we're down to just a couple people left. And they're like, oh crap, we got to do something. And then this crazy Borg lady shows up and they're like, well, the Borg has been dead forever. Like, what's going on? She's like, we've been evolving too, man. And I'm going to be on your side. And all I got to do is we're going to go to the ship and you have to give me something that I want off of it. And they're like, okay. So they go there and she finds the DNA of Captain Kirk. And with the new technology the Borgs have done, she's able to bring him back to life and like reconstruct his body. So we're like way in the Star Trek future. Everybody's dead and Captain Kirk is back. So that's really cool. It was 34 pages, huge book, really, really good. If you're Star Trek ambivalent, go for it. And then I also read The Phantom by Ray Fox and Russell Olson. The Phantom, everyone, the purple guy with the skull ring. Can't remember a time where I read.
Timer's up.
Oh, okay.
My phone's too quiet.
All right. I did like that.
But please finish your thought. Don't let me interrupt you.
Well, the Phantom, this is just a really good introduction to that character. There has not been a lauded Phantom series or thing that everyone knows. So if you're going to do a new Phantom thing, Mad Cave who's been killing it for the last year or so. I think you're starting in the correct way, introducing aspects of the character and how the society views this character. I really like the Phantom. Nice. Since I was a little kid. So I'm going to give Star Trek: The Last Starship a 9. Okay, maybe a 9.5, but I liked it a lot. And I'm gonna
great.
It's pretty great. And I'm gonna give the Phantom an 8. It was nostalgia is the thing that was making me enjoy that and coming to reading it. But I'm excited at the aspect of being able to read a Phantom book and not just have the one touchstone in my brain of the movie, which is awesome.
I mean, Ray Fox is pretty solid.
Yeah, and interestingly, in the text in the back, it has his pitch for it, which is always kind of interesting to see how a creator pitches a book to a publisher.
Yeah.
So that's the books we read this week. If you enjoyed your time with the comics podcast, Perfectly Acceptable Podcast, you can find us weekly every week. We live stream our video podcast on our Facebook page, and then you can find it on our YouTube store, our YouTube
store
for the Comics Place.
I think you can find it on Jeff's Venmo too.
Yes, and we got it all saved there. But yeah, and then it's on the Perfectly Acceptable Podcast in your podcast feeds. Usually we go a little bit longer than this. We're a little less rushed, and we've got somebody instead of Brian. So I'm really grateful that Brian is here this week, stepping up and filling the hole of the Rome Doggy Millionaire.
If you want to get in touch with us, Jeff at thecomicsplace.com. And yeah, man, this has been really fun. I'm super stoked that the EXP had us on. They've been trying for a while, Kyle, and it's not you, it's us.
What a cool thing that you all are doing, though. This is an exciting thing, and Local Comic Store Day needs to be, celebrated and have some fanfare put up around it. So I'm really grateful that something like this is going on.
The whole ability to go global, like literally we're live in every time zone at some, like we started at 6 a.m. or at noon in Spain and we're ending at noon in Spain.
Nice.
Like that's a weird thing for me to say as a human person. Like 6 a.m. Eastern to 6 a.m. Eastern doesn't sound as cool as no. We started at noon in Spain. Right.
So that was like Django and I,
but
who else was the third person here?
Our friend.
That was Brian's best Roman impersonation ever. Just sort of like
I'm prepping for the next episode, guys. I don't have time to talk to you. What are you doing?
We're signing off.
I was gonna make a big in Japan joke, and next thing I know, we're comparing Brian to Roman, and like my brain just. I'm so tired. I can't shift gears anymore. I'm like top gear in the later seasons.
A big in Japan joke belongs everywhere. Tom Waits' new poetry book is going to be on my front porch from the post office man in a couple of days. Pretty excited about that. Speaking of big in Japan, I hope you're talking about the same big in Japan that I am.
I was just going to talk about how when I go to Japan, I look like Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
But also, big in Japan, like Tom Waits, or big in Germany, like I'm David Hasselhoff, or,
Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah, the Bloodhound Gang. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Thanks so much, everybody. And Brian, I love you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Love you, buddy.
And stay tuned for the Data Bros.
Countries aren't at war anymore.
I know. All right. We're gonna do a thing. All right, guys, check it out. Because Meta and Facebook and YouTube and all these guys have rules, we have to reset every so many hours, and we went an hour and a half over what we're really supposed to do to get everything in this section. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to end the stream. Okay. Then in about 30 seconds time, we're going to start the next stream with this same group of dudes. All right. Same group of people are just going to leave this broadcast room, go into another broadcast room, and do the same thing again, except under a different title and way more mathy. Or maybe not. I'm not sure what they're going to do. But we're going to be right back after these words from the reset button here on Local Comic Shop Day Live.